This is my first and only PS2 that I've ever owned. It's actually the thing that got me sort of going into the further PlayStation world. I did have a PS1, but it was just a hand-me-down from a family friend. This was the one that I asked for and played and put the most time into. Here's my memory card. It literally still has tape on it. I don't know who's going to remember these kind of memory cards. It's not focusing, but there we go. We're going to talk about some of the games I was playing on there. The reason I'm making this video is because I went on PlayStation now, and last week or a couple of days ago, a few videos ago, I made a video about PS3 games being on the PlayStation Store with that whole glitch situation, and it made me wonder, like, what games would I want to play that are PS2 games on PS5? And with the whole backwards compatibility thing becoming more and more relevant and in the talks with the whole Spartacus and patents and all these things going on within PlayStation. Also with the recent acquisition of Activision by Microsoft, does this push Sony to do more out-of-the-box things, or are they going to stick to their gut and we'll get things in a timely manner? For me, this would be cool and an incentive if I was Sony, but I'm not a giant billion-dollar company, so I don't know what's a priority and what's not, but this would probably make me push out Spartacus faster, but that's just me. So I'm going to talk about some PS2 games that I would like to see on there, my current collection, surviving collection from all the times that I have moved and all of that as a kid. Mind you, everyone's experience in gaming and where they started is different, depending on when you were born and what games you played at during certain years and times. The PS2 was my growing up console. Like, it wasn't a Nintendo 64. And I'm not going to say I hate retro games. I don't have that nostalgia with like Street Fighter or something because that just wasn't my upbringing. For me, it was the PS2. And these are some of the most special games that I've ever played and will continue to love moving forward into the future. Sadly, PS Now has a whopping total of 16 PS2 games on there. And at a quick glance, the only ones I recognize are Destroy All Humans 1 and 2. I'm not saying the other games are bad. I'm just saying nothing else in there speaks to me, and we definitely need a better, bigger library of backwards compatible PS2 games. So please, Sony, I would be okay if we don't get it, honestly. I'm on PS5 to play PS5 games, but an added bonus would be to have some awesome PS2 games that are just sitting back here captivating dust that maybe I could rebuy or have on a streaming service or whatever software thing they're working on for us, a service of some sort, Spartacus. I know it doesn't look like much, and there's probably more that have gotten lost along the way or broke or whatever the case happened. I have moved quite a bit of times in these games. Some of them are older than 15 years. I'm going to go through them real quickly here and just kind of reminisce for a second. So the first one on top there is Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. I want to say I was stuck on the first level of this game forever. I don't remember playing anything but the first level, and I think it was just, I don't remember if you're Obi-Wan and you're just in space, like the darkness of space. That's all I remember about that game. Def Jam Fight for New York. This game is hilariously awesome. It's like street fights, it's 1v1s, there's cage matches, it's very fun, and you're playing as hip-hop stars. It even has a cool story where you create a character and you end up fighting like Snoop Dogg and Fat Joe at some of the last levels. Very awesome, very interesting, hilarious game. Driver 3, my first introduction to an open world, crazy GTA-esque world. I want to say I played Driver 3 before I played San Andreas, but I could be wrong. Funny story, I did get San Andreas later on in the timeline, and I didn't have a box for it because a friend gave it to me, so I just put it on top of the Driver 3 disc in the box. Sonic Riders, pretty goofy song that I remember in the beginning of this game, the intro song. This was my brother's game, but it was a fun racer. I feel like this game was super hard. Maybe I was just bad at it, but yeah, Sonic Riders. Scalar, this was a mascot platformer. I wouldn't say this was like a PlayStation mascot, but I do remember having a really fun time with this game. It got lost for a long time. I got really sad, and I recently found it, and then by the time I found it, I was no longer playing PS2. I want to say I refound this game during the PS4 era, which was many, many years later. In a world where I only played Jak and Daxter as my main mascot platformer type of game, action, adventure, whatever, I didn't play Sly Cooper, I didn't play Ratchet and Clank. I played Jak and Daxter and then later discovered Scalar because it was a gift and I actually really liked it. Robots. I absolutely hated this game and loved it. I think I probably hated it more than I loved it. This game, you go collecting different things, and I remember being stuck, not being able to move on to the rest of the game because I couldn't find one piece of something. And years later down the line, when I finally found that piece, when I would go back to the game and try, I found the piece and never played the game ever again. But yeah, robots. There's like 2 of the same disc in here. Don't know why. The guy that sold it to me, he just said there's 2 of the same game in here. One of them may or may not work. It was like someone that was selling games on the street. So I don't know if they were stolen or what, but this was the first time I had a Dragon Ball Z game, and I played this game a whole lot. It's a very cool game, Budokai. Classic game right there. Sims 2, I think my games are in reverse. Sims 2 I definitely got after the next game that I'm probably going to run into. Yep. This one was cool because you could actually control your character. I think this was my sister's game actually, but I remember getting in trouble with my cousin because we stayed up when he came to visit. He came to visit and we played Sims 2 for like the whole night, and his mom was pretty upset because we were youngsters staying up late. Busting out was not like Sims 2 because I think this was more like a PC-like experience. You would point and click where you wanted to walk and stuff. Couldn't control your actual character. But, you know, it's The Sims. You take care of the character. You have a family. You have a job. All that's good old Sims stuff. I brought these all out at the same time because obviously they're all part of the same series. Jak and Daxter is the most crucial, most important series that really showed me how much I like video games. Jak 3 specifically, I played so many times. Jak and Daxter and Jak 2 were the games I was playing as my console, like, first 2 games, basically. Jak 3, though, was my absolute favorite. These games, I feel like, were so ahead of their time. I don't remember what year this was, but it was a long time ago, and there was, like, open world elements in here. Naughty Dog obviously knows how to make a game, and I would so love a Jak 4 or just something. Like, please. I don't want another Uncharted game. No offense to everyone that loves Uncharted, but every time they're talking about, oh, Uncharted might be coming back, or even now The Last of Us remake of a whatever the whole Last of Us situation is, it would be awesome. And me as a fan of Jak and Daxter, just hearing that they're working on another installment, a Jak 4 or even a Jak 3 remaster with like Demon Souls level detail, that would be so amazing to me. But yeah, this right here is definitely my favorite game of all time. So even to this day, when people ask me that question, this is the first game that comes to mind. It's just an absolute gem. We also have Jak X. So after the void of not having another action-adventure game, they go and make a racing game. For some reason, I thought Naughty Dog didn't make Jak X. Thought it was like some third-party studio. It might be the PSP game. Actually, Naughty Dog might have made that one too. I think it was the Forgotten Legacy or the Precursor's Legacy something. There was a not Naughty Dog Jak and Daxter game, and I do not have that game, and I think it was on the PSP as well, but I could be wrong about all of that. Let's move on. Street 2, one of the first sports games, and the coolest. I wish I would bring Street back. We have like NBA playgrounds or something now, but it was definitely, Street 2 is definitely way cooler than those games. Love that game. Corvette, for some reason, I don't know if this game, Corvette, it was a first-person only car game or if I just never knew how to switch the camera, but that's the main thing I remember. I remember just being in first person the whole time, so maybe I was just not very smart. Since we're talking about cars and Corvettes, I think Cars was the only movie game that I put so much time into. I'm not counting robots because I did not enjoy that game, but Cars, the first movie or the first game based on the first movie, was an awesome game. It had like open world elements. You would collect these lightning bolts, then you would go and you would enter the Piston Cup races. It was very cool. 007 was my first person shooter that I owned. I remember going to a friend's house. They were having like a little birthday party or something at the time, and we were playing 4 people on one screen. There was like a small crowd watching. You would need this box just to plug in another 2 remotes to your PS2. And it was just an awesome time. Made me get into 007, and that was my first experience with a first-person shooter. Also, whenever I would play the story mode for this game, the save file would not save. Whenever I would play the game, I would have to restart and play as many missions as I could before I turned it off, and then that's like my story with this game. Replay missions, turn it off, restart the game. Like, it was like a permadeath situation where you if you lose or you turn it off, you have to restart the game. MVP Baseballs, probably, I didn't own and still don't own any MLB The Show game, but way back when, this game got super burnt out and I would play this probably every day, and at the time I thought this game looked super realistic. But MVP Baseball 2005. Now we don't even have any other baseball games aside from MLB The Show. So yeah, the home run derby mode in this game was awesome. If you hit like the tractors and stuff, you get extra points. Really loved this game. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. So I'm really excited that they're working on a Skate 4. Is it? Yeah, Skate 4. But what got my attention in the whole skating video game space was definitely Pro Skater 4. I did not have Underground. I think I went over people's houses to play that one, but this one, super burnt out. I probably played this game like millions of times. So these last two on this list are Happy Feet and Power Rangers. So the Power Rangers one, it's kind of silly that I don't know if back then I just didn't care if a game was good or bad. I think I just enjoyed every game equally. Okay, maybe not. I think I hated robots and knew I hated robots during that time. I think Happy Feet was a music rhythm game, and I'm pretty sure that I knew I wasn't the biggest fan. Happy Feet was like a gift to my brother, and I did play it a few times. Not my jam. It came with a free movie ticket, apparently. The more you know. And lastly, we have Power Rangers. The game is still in here. I think it's scratched up in there, but I believe this game, Dino Thunder, you don't play as the Power Rangers. Instead, you play as the Megazords. And like I said, I don't know if I just didn't or couldn't tell the difference between a good or bad game. I want to say that I still love this game even though you couldn't play as the Power Rangers. But I got really upset when this game stopped working. But yeah, those are the ones that survived. And I'm just looking at Jak 3 because I wish Naughty Dog would make another Jak game so badly. Anyways, we have 16 sad games on PS Now. I'm looking forward to see what becomes of the PS2 library on PS5 and with Spartacus or whatever service we get that lets us play backwards compatible games. But that's all I have for you guys today. I wanted to share my collection, kind of share my come up in video games. I probably had more games than this, but like I said, it's been a long time, a lot of moving around, and right now these are the ones I have at hand. And I guess the most important ones are the ones that survived, so that's what matters. Here's to hoping that we get some PS2 games on PS5. Same thing with PS3 games, made a recent video on that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video.